Just set it up to record. All right. So, I don't want to say assigned, but so Larry, who's the head of our education committee at the Chicago Judging Center, feels that we don't judge catasetums correctly. And he did tell me that you are publishing a big paper that's coming out in like November. That's going to be in Orchids magazine. But
it's like 100,000 words. Good luck reading it.
Well, the biggest problem is that I have to present the paper in January, and if I read your thing in November, I'm not going to have enough time, right? Because December is a very busy month for most people, right? And I just not like we meet the first like Saturday or second, like we meet very early in the month, and I just won't have enough time, even if I take like right after Christmas. I won't be able to go through. So I'm gonna ask.
I have a talk on judging catasetums.
Okay.
Do you want to share your screen with me real quick, and I'll put it on, and we'll go through it, and then you can watch it again.
All right. So let me do this. How do I do that? I don't want to do that.
You gotta just you need to enable
participation. There you go. No, I don't want to do that. I want to make it so you can share.
That's it.
Not so that I am sharing, but apparently when I clicked that, it gave me the wrong options. There we go. All right. So now you should be able to share so I can look.
Yes, I can. Okay, good. All right. Now where
technology is not working for me today.
All right, let's see here. I have got to not go here. Let's see here. I need to look it up real fast. Oops, that's not it. PowerPoint. Look at all these PowerPoint presentations I have. Ew. Okay, let's see here. Judging catasetums and Craig Clarke is right there.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So you're recording this, right?
But I'm not seeing your screen yet.
Okay. Oh. Share screen. Should be it now.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
From beginning. All right. Okay.
Oh, it's perfect. Thank you.
All right. So now I'm going to go kind of fast.
Yes.
Otherwise, it takes like an hour and a half to do this. This is the long version I gave to the Australians at last 3 years ago.
Oh, this is awesome.
So
all right.
When you go to Australia, you give the long version because you won't be back soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to develop a basic understanding. This is also will be very good for you in your presentation. The way this is laid out is a proven format that is very effective.
Okay. I figured you'd have one.
You may pillage and use accordingly.
I will pillage.
All right. So we're going to review the species, right? We're going to tell them what we're going to tell them. Then we tell them what we told them. That whole idea. Okay. So we're going to identify the key floral traits. We're going to look at breeding characteristics and then judging female flowers. So judging criteria is right out of the handbook. It's but modified somewhat to fit catasetums. So
okay.
You can see here those things.
All right, quick question right here. There was some mutterings. We had to judge a catasetum yesterday about trying to use a Cymbidium scale versus general.
You could if you wanted.
I mean,
you'll see. I'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
Okay. So the color should be defined. Okay, these are all the things as a student that are important and to share with the judges. So we start off with cycnoches. Okay, so the genus is into two sections. This is important to know because with cycnoches, the flowers look like one another, the male and female, and the heteranthes are very different.
Okay.
So here's the cycnoches. Here's Borzovixii. This is a male. Here are some, I've been line breeding these for a long time, and I have elevated the quality of the line bred Borzovixii from what was once almost an FCC to what judges look at this now and they go, oh, they don't even recognize how well that's improved.
Okay, so because I'm stupid and ignorant, let me ask you, how is it improved? Like
Okay, see my pointer? You see the pointer? See this gap?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, filling the spaces between the segments, right? The fenestration is important. So see the fullness here. Now look
Right.
here.
Right. Oh, you closed it.
Oh yeah, that looks really good. Yeah.
It does
Okay.
look better, but I haven't learned really quite yet how to detect those kind of things right off. Like, why does it look better?
Thus pointing it out, and you can look at this over and over again to help train your eye. Okay, so here's one called the Levin Swan. Here's Carlos to give you a sense of scale, right?
Wow.
That's almost 20 inches from the tip to the bottom, that inflorescence and how big the flowers are.
Those are huge flowers. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So then here's the female form. And the female form, I don't talk about this, but look at the short, broad column. You can see it's broad and short. And on the end, there's no pollinia. But the shape is quite good.
Right. Female.
Okay. So here's another female. And you can see the shape's magnificent on the females, but there's only 1 or 2 flowers when they're females, not like the 9 to 10 or 11 flowers when there's males.
Okay.
Okay, here's a close-up showing the stigmatic cavity on a female. And this is then Cycnoches chlorokylon. Chlorokylon has acutely upswept petals. And not very many true chlorokylons have been awarded. They've almost always been Vorzavixiais, but there was some name confusion back in the day where everything was called chlorokylon, and when in fact they were Vorzavixiais. So these are true chlorokylons with the acutely upswept petals and the oversized dorsals. Then there's Haggii. Haggii is a small flower. In this picture, you can see male and female blooms together. See the long, slender column of the male in the pollinia. And then here's the female flower here. Here's a female here, the short, broad column in the absence of pollinia.
Now, is that 2 different stems?
On the same inflorescence.
Okay.
So here's Cycnoches lemannii. Not many awards to these. See in this picture, this flower just opened, but if you look in the back, look how these are the petals here. See how they sweep back? And they really acutely sweep back. This is the best picture I have of this. But when you saw the acutely swept back flower form, it really doesn't lend itself to judging standards.
And I don't know, like in terms of like AOS standards, should we be encouraging people to say that's just how the species is, and you should be generous?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's awardable. It just means that's how the species is. You might, give it a judge's commendation or something, but it really doesn't fit our criteria. We have a standard that we outlined at the beginning. And so when a flower doesn't fit that, it creates a discussion that you and your team should have regarding whether or not it's awardable. But I wouldn't go into that in your talk. That's a very esoteric thing, and it could take hours if you tried to review that, because everyone would want to chime in. All right, so then Peruviana. So see, here's a fine example of a magnificent species. It's probably not judgeable or awardable. Look at the flowers, how squirrely they are. They all curl back. It's just, you might give it a cultural award or a judge's commendation or something, but probably not a quality award. Then there's Heron Hussainum. So these are heteranthes. So we've been looking here at Cycnoches. Peruviana is a heteranthe, which means they have different male and female flowers. Here's Heron Hussainum. And here is the female Heron Hussainum, the male and the female. Here's Barthiorum, the male and the female. Here's Cooperi, the male, and there are 2 color forms, the typical and the green form, which has been elevated to a subspecies. Ayacuchoensis for those pronunciation challenged individuals. It's from Ayacucho. So if you can say Ayacucho, then you just add ensis to the end. Ayacucho is a province in northern Peru and the name of the capital city of that province. Okay, then Cooperi, this is one that got an FCC on the right. The one on the left is showing male and female flowers simultaneously. Here's the female flower form. All right, so how do you judge? So here's the form, should be full stars, extra points for fullness, slightly cut flowers are awardable. All right, I like to suggest to judges that when you see stuff like, you know, really shapely flowers, give extra points. And when you slightly cut flowers are okay, but if they're flat, you got to give more points. To say stuff like this demonstrates your command over your awareness of how to point a flower, which is important for them to see so they know you're ready.
I don't know if I'm ready.
So that's part of the purpose of this talk, is to evaluate where you're at. Okay. So the color should be clear and bright, the variable size, okay, and the substance, arrangement, and so forth. Okay. And so let's score of Warzovixii. All right. So here we go. All right. The shape. Okay. You can see the triangles, the circular shape, even though it's kind of starry looking, the points of the segments form that circular shape. I say use a cymbidium scale because it's, instead of the general scale, I like it because it forces you to use the score sheet. If you use the general scale, you just go form and you write a number down, color, you write a number down, and other characteristics, you write a number. So by picking, it doesn't have to be the cymbidiums, but it seems to fit nicely because of the emphasis that it puts on the color of the petals and sepals, and the lip usually is not that exciting color-wise. And then it also breaks out, you know, well, on the general scale, I guess it does too, but really it puts an emphasis on color of the petals and sepals, which are quite colorful in a lot of these. Okay, so you go through the thing, the form is good, you know, the color's good, nice clean green, white lip. You got the other characteristics, 84 points. Okay, then you go and you look. So here is this, that's what this got, was 84, but here's what they look like now. On the left is the 84, on the right is, I haven't shown it to anybody yet, besides myself and all you guys in the meeting. You can really see the improvement in the shape, the fullness. Look how rounded the belly is on the petals. The dorsal sepal's quite straight. It doesn't curl under as much. The lip is nice. And then here are some more, and here's another one. Oops, well, come on. And then here's one of the more recent hybrids. Look at the width of the lateral sepals and the broad, and then very full. So just, you know, continue line breeding. And then here, let's judge Cooperi. So here's a Cooperi. And one of the things I always say is, look at that terrible notch. Now I could say, look at the beautiful rich color. But I say, look at that notch. And everybody focuses on the notch. And I ask you to judge it in your mind's eye. And so they go through it and look at the points I give it for the petals. That's only 60 percentile for form on the petals. But the other qualities, even though it has that little notch, the fullness, the straight dorsal, the lack of the donkey earring, okay, the color's fantastic, really good, you get 82. Even though there's a notch in the petals. Okay, and so then let's look at some other stuff. So here's Barthiorum by Cooperi. There's Jean Monnier. Another flowering of Jean Monnier. This is to show judges the effect, the effect of the breeding, right? To help the judges be able to see what the flowers look like and the offspring. So here's Barthiorum and Heron Husseinum. That's Martha Clarke. Here's another Martha. Here is other hybrids, Lemanii and Barthiorum, Jumbo Cooper, Warzovixii and Cooperi. Here's Annie Katrin Berger. Here's Richard Brandon. I list the parents. So here's Swan Cascade with Jean Monnier and Cooperi. So that's 1 Barthiorum and 2 Cooperis. Then some other hybrids. Here's Pineapple Popcorn, Criminy, Richard Brandon. Actually, this has been named now. This is named for that girl in Louisiana. So then Dark Swan. That looks pretty good. Richard Brandon and Claronge. How about Providence? Richard Brandon and Martha Clarke. And so we're just looking at the shape and the form and the presentation and considering where we were back with the species just a little while ago, right? To where we are now in the hybrids. Oh, here, hold on a second, just a second.
All right.
Hi. What's up, you guys? Hi. Yeah, have you been here before? No. Oh, okay.
Zoom the record. There we go.
Oh, recording again? Yeah.
I just paused it so that it just didn't have 5 minutes of blank.
Yeah. So you can see how the improvement of quality is over the parents, right? And so this is the thing for judges, is to help train their eye to how these things have improved in short order over the species. You know, we're only talking about 15 years here. You know, look at Providence. Man, if that's not an FCC, I don't know what isn't. Okay, and so then some other new hybrids where we're trying to breed black flowers, and we're getting pretty close. And so, all right, so now let's talk about Mormodis. So this is a tricky one, okay? It's a diverse group, okay? And this is a powerful statement that I've written here, okay? The primary focus, because this is a little contrary to some ideas the AOS puts forward, because they don't fit every category like the Lemanii we were talking about. So the primary focus in judging should be towards the overall effect of the inflorescence, okay, and the flower color, quantity, arrangement, and size. Like with Dendrobium spatulata and Laturia breeding. We give Laturias and spatulata hybrids all the time, and they're asymmetrical and twisted and so forth. So here is, I suggest the Dendrobium scale works well. So then we continue. So here's Mormodis sinuata. You can see the twisting and the contorting. Here's Hericii, Mormodis elegans. Here's a straight on shot of elegans showing the twist to the column, which is not normal for most orchids. How about Buchanator? Here's Hookeri and Revoluta, Ignea. So these are hard to look at. And so it's the overall appeal, right? The form and presentation of the asymmetric segments of the flower should be uniform from bloom to bloom. So if every flower is perfectly asymmetrical and it looks like a copy of the next flower, that's good form.
Good.
If they all look the same. Okay, distinctive bright colors, research awards, and so forth. And so then we show some pictures. Here's sinuata, and you can see how each flower is very, very identical, yet asymmetrical. So you go through and you get a lot of points for that. The color's good. Other characteristics, a little crowded, bunchy on one side. So you get a 78 using a Dendrobium scale. Okay, and the Dendrobium scales identifies the color even more clearly for petals and sepals by breaking it out, giving a total of 10 points for the color. So it emphasizes that area. Okay, so then how about this guy? Here's Jumbo Bacchia, right? They got an AM. Look at the flowers along the, now I cut about half this inflorescence off so you could at least see the individual blooms. See how the curvature of the lip and the curvature of the petals and everything is almost identical on every flower. So that was a well-deserved award. Here's one I haven't exhibited, Mark Mills. Look at the color. That's unbelievable. Okay, here's Nitty Gritty. Again, you can see the symmetry in the shape of the flowers. Here's one, got a judge's commendation. I don't know. Here's Virgin of the Valley, got an AM, and you can see how each flower is nearly identical. Here is a Virgin of the Valley, by the way, is an expression in Spanish. That's in Spanish. It's written in Spanish. Virgen del Valle. Virgen del Valle means oh my gosh, and translates to oh my gosh in Spanish in Venezuela. I wanted to name this cross Sinful Hooker. But the guy in Venezuela, he said he wanted to call it Virgin of the Valley. And so I'm like, oh, I better not call it Sinful Hooker then. And and so later I told him I want to do it. And he laughed and said, well, you should have named it that. That would have been a better name. So anyway, so here's Midnight Hooker. Okay, so we did finally get the Midnight and Hooker together. This got an HCC. Here's a close-up. These are really large flowers for a Mormotes. The judges have generally a very hard time judging Mormotes. It's so far out of their wheelhouse that they often, feel uncomfortable scoring it, and so they score down frequently. So here's one, this Nuclear Fallout had just amazing color, which blew their doors off and ended up getting an AM. Then how about this one? Here's Virgin of the Valley and Nitty Gritty. And that's just beautiful looking at that. The symmetry of the flowers, the striping, the color, the hirsute lips. All right, so let's talk about this. So when you breed Cycnoches and Mormotes together, that makes the Cycnotes. The Cycnoches imparts the flower form, and the Mormotes the color. So here you go. Borzovixii by Frymira. You can see the pink flower. And you see the stripes in the
Yes.
petals and lateral sepals. Those are actually coalesced dots.
Ooh.
And so when you cross them together, remember the Borzovixii is dormant for the shape and the Mormotes for the color. So that's what the offspring look like.
Ooh.
Very impressive. It got the best from the Borzovixii and the best from the Mormotes. So then here's a hybrid of Mormotes Midnight and Borzovixii, made Midnight Magic. Here is a hybrid of Borzovixii and Hericii, makes Opalina. How about Lamanii and Sinuata, makes Wine Delight. Now, Wine Delight got an FCC. It was 40 years ago, though. So today it doesn't hold up to the current hybrids. Here's Cherokee with an FCC. And the best FCC of the year.
Oh.
Oh, Zara. Okay, 1 second here. All right. Yeah, like this now. So
Okay.
so look at the, all right. So here's Wine Delight. See the hooded dorsal, see the hump, see the gap, the fenestration. Yes. So here we go. We've filled all that. We've got a flat lip. Here's John Noggle, beautiful. Look at this one. And then how about that? I don't have the good picture. Well, I must have shortened this. Okay. So then here's a hybrid Spotted Hornet. This yellow one got an FCC, but I think this one on the left deserved it maybe even more with the red lip. All right, so Troublemaker's the next generation of breeding. So it's Spotted Hornet, which is Borzovixii by Exotic Treat, crossed to Borzovixii again. Oh, this is weird. And so this is what Spotted Hornets look like. Oh, I see how I did this. Yeah, see the shape of the flower and the substance and the fullness. Then there's this hybrid here, Leopard's Gold. That's very similar in breeding. These have never been shown to the judges. I'm sure they would garner high awards if they did. All right, so then how about Jumbo Diamond? This has gotten literally 30 or 40 awards. So judging Cycnotes. Okay, so slightly cut flowers, the uniform presentation. Remember, there's a Mormotes in here. So the color, all these qualities, and so, oh, here we go. So this is, so here, see, you can see this. So this is John Noggle. We saw some other examples.
This is the better picture, the better plant.
It's just a different one. I love the lip color on this. Just beautiful. And so this has never been exhibited. So I'm using the Cymbidium scale. I think the color is off the charts, 87 percentile. I could be talked into going higher. I mean, the form, The color, right, is FCC color, the size and so forth. So I'm saying that's 87. Okay, so then how to judge Catasetum species and hybrids. So the same trends here. Okay, we help you decide. Okay, expect fair substance. All right, so here we go. So here's Peleotum, the female flowers on the left, on the right, and the males on the left. Here's Peleotum and Pyrale. Arrangement, Catasetums have a tendency to do almost perfect arrangement. So here you can see there's two inflorescences, right?
Uh-huh.
Now watch this. Do you see the perfect arrangement on this display of Peleotum Pierre Corre flowers? This should help you.
Oh.
Right? You see that?
Uh-huh.
Perfectly spaced and symmetrical going that way, and then just as good going the other way. These are almost perfect squares here. You can't have better arrangement than this. If you don't recognize that as perfect arrangement, you need to do some work. So this is a powerful thing for most judges to say, when you see that, man, you better be given all the points for arrangement. So here's Peleotum, and you can see that trend again. See how it cuts across here?
Uh-huh. Yes.
And here, and look, it comes down this way and down this way, right? So here's Expansum. Here's this got an AM, this one. Here's Tenebrosum. Here's got an FCC on this Spitzii. Here's a different colored Spitzii. Denticulatum. See the arrangement? Look at coming across this way. Now, if you blink, look, it's going this way too. Perfectly arranged. Here's Tigrinum. Tigrinum has ridiculously wide petals, unusual in Catasetinae, and may lead to improved flower forms. Lots of flowers on the stem, Cicadum, Osculatum. To osculate in the Latin means to kiss. So this is the kissing Catasetums, Osculatum. If the Pope walked in the room and held out his hand and you kneeled down and you kissed the ring on his hand, you're osculating. Here's Fimbriatum. Another Fimbriatum, the dark colored form. Here's Barbatum, Callosum, and these are all examples of the extreme differences that you find in Catasetums. And so to judge these requires you do your homework. Here's Lucius, big long flower spike. Here's Sanguinium, looks like a monkey face. See the eyes, the nostrils, the lips, and the chin. Here's Roseovirens. How about, I don't know if this is Globiflorum or Globiflorum. I like saying Globiflorum.
And these are all male flowers or these female flowers?
We're only looking at males.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. So here's the Vanni and then Peleotum. So let's judge Peleotum, okay? So Cymbidium scale, we go through it, the color, the form's okay. Color's pretty good, and you end up with an HCC. Here is Tenebrosum. It's an outstanding form, excellent color, all good, gets an A. So here's some hybrids. Here's Peleotum by Expansum, makes Orchid Glade and their respective awards. Here's Susan Fuchs, Burgundy Chips with her FCC. You notice the lateral sepals dry up very quickly. Here's John Burchett with an FCC. Here's some hybrids with John Burchett and some other things. Here's Fong Sing. Fong's a student judge in Puerto Rico. That one got an A, and look at the shape, how full it is. All right, here's Richard Fulford. These have really been doing well in front of the judges. There have been 3 FCCs so far to Richard Fulford, Orchid Glade by Lucius. Here is Sheriff Frank Drew have done well also with judging. Here's some miniature Catasetinae, Milana Davidson and the color forms. Here's Alexa Knoll. Is she in your judging center?
No.
She's close though. And so Alexa is really good. Here's one that was graced the covers of the Orchids magazine. Here's Chuck Taylor, lives in Edmonton, Canada. Here's Denti Grianum. See the arrangement again coming across, but it's also coming back this way. And then, so Karen Armstrong with Darkness makes Dark Odyssey. You know, you can always ask which flower, you know, which has the best shape, which has the best color. Then here's Dreamboat, the 2 parents and the same thing, you know, which one's awardable? Wow, look at the lip on that. Holy moly, a white lip. What? Dark burgundy petals and a yellow lip? Pink? A pink Catasetum? Never heard of that. You know, so there's a whole discussion you can have with these kind of pictures. Then we got the Cloesias, Grace Dunn, Rebecca Northern, hybrids with Rebecca Northern. How about here's Alexandra Sava, and then Cosmic Sunlight. Here's Diane Durst. This is a recent one that's been doing well with the judges. Here's Pierre Correa with Peleatum and Rebecca Northern. Okay, so Fred Clarke Auras. These are the parents. Rebecca Northern by Sinuata makes Painted Desert. Painted Desert by Donna Wise makes After Dark. So here's After Dark, Black Knight. Got an FCC. Here's Black Diamond. Here's Sunset Valley Orchids. Here's Black Cherry. And here's After Dark. That's a Meristem mutation. Then we made some other hybrids. So here's Interlight. You can see the fullness of the flower starts to change. See the shape? So the next generation of hybrids going back to a Catasetum is filling out the shape. Here's one. So this was made with a red Peleatum, and this is made with a green Peleatum. So we got Fred Clarke Interlights that are reddish and green. Here's Frank Smith with John Burchett. Here's Crazy Good. You can see the fullness of the flowers improving. Here's After Dark and Mark Dimmitt, another one that got an FCC. Here's Dark Thereafter. Fantastic flowers. Here's Desert Tenor. Has a kind of a glowing quality. Here's After Midnight. Here's Dark Matter. Here's Doubtless. No Doubt by Orchid Glade. And Doubtless, when crossed back to Orchid Glade, and this is the best of the Doubtless. Unbelievable. This is a Fred Clarke Aura. See the arrangement again coming this way and then back this way.
Perfect.
See, right? You see the arrangement going both ways. Beautiful flowers. Then there's this hybrid Gemstones, Painted Desert by Orchid Glade. Look at the color of this. You got to be kidding me. And so then here's Upgrade. This is a whole different way to come about a Fred Clarke Aura using very different parents. And then here's Providence. Look at the shape of this flower. All right, so then we tried to breed miniature Fred Clarke Auras. So we took some small growing Catasetums like Milana Davidson, and we made Desert Davidson. This, of course, is as black as anything you ever saw. Then look at this guy. How many flowers do you want on a stem? And then the last and the latest hybrids I've been working on are Catamotes. We took Denticulatum, crossed it with Lawrenciana, and made Dragon's Tail. And Dragon's Tail, the lips reminded me of scales of a dragon. Here's another one. So we took Dragon's Tail and crossed it back to Orchid Glade and made Dragon's Glade. I think there's been 7 or 8 awards now to Dragon's Glade. There's this one here. Look how dark they are, how full the flowers are. Look at this one. You've got to be kidding me. So these aren't Fred Clarkaras. These are Catamotes. So is this black? I took this under 3 different light conditions. So is that black? Is that black? Same flowers, right? See them? Just different light. Or is that black? Looks black to me. Okay. And then how about that one? Right. So there's actually 4 pictures. 1, 2, 3, 4. Full sunlight there. Okay. So then look at this dragon's glade. Man, a man alive. So we go from this to this out of the same Grex. See the seed pods on there? Oh yeah. Thank you. And how about this dragon's blade? All from the same. And look at the shape of this. Is that not pleasing to the eye? There's something about that. This puts to test your ability to view what is beautiful. And if you look at that, it has nearly perfect bilateral symmetry. If you took a line right down the middle and you folded this in half, look at that notch and that notch right there. They're about exactly the same. The curvature here and here, it's really good. All right. So then we took Dragon's Glade and crossed it with John Burchett and made Darconium. And here's a Darconium. Here's one that's orange with a bit of yellow. One that's nearly solid black. One that I would say is black. So from yellow to orange to black. And then this one got an FCC. Catamotes. All right. So should we judge female flowers? Okay. This is always fun to do. Female flower. So, all right. So you can speak with a lot of conviction when you say this. Female flowers are not accepted as the botanically correct type for species identification, and as such should not be considered for AOS judging. Right?
For any like
well, that I heard a judge say something like this. I think I embellished slightly, but that's a powerful statement, right? Female flowers are not accepted as a botanically correct type for species identification, and so we shouldn't judge them. Well, so then everyone's kind of sitting there after you say this, right? But then you say, but I think that female flowers represent the female aspects, which have qualities and faults that are quantifiable by the AOS judging standards. And then a bunch of people will applaud. Okay, and so here we go. So what are the issues in judging female flowers? Well, you need to understand the morphological differences. That's one. You've got the male flowers are produced in large numbers and are often highly colorful. The female flowers usually have low numbers, often have heavy substance, but are not complex colored. Flower sex needs to be noted in the award description. Because do we award plants or do we award flowers? There's a good question. We award plants with flowers. So there's no provision for an award. I think I go over that here. So could 2 different quality awards be given to the same plant? Because what if the female flowers were FCC and the males were HCC? Which award takes precedence? So you could bring this up and this would show profound understanding of the dilemma in judging catasetums. Okay, so here's the Cycnoches, female flowers. Oh my God, how beautiful is that? And look at this symmetry between each blossom down to the little bit of striping on the columns. It's almost every one is nearly identical. So let's score it. Okay, I'd say the form is FCC. I'd say the color is FCC. I'd say the other character, I'm giving that an FCC. All right. What about this one? Uh-oh. We got another FCC Cooperi. The females are just fantastic looking. And so how about Catasetum females? So here's all Catasetum females, 3 different species. Can you tell me which species they belong to? Right? So so this is the problem. But there are qualities, maybe this one would be scoreable, right? Look at the nice balance, the fullness. These are all kind of squirrely and undisciplined. Each flower looks different from one another. But here, there's quite a nice roundness to this and the fullness. So there is some beauty there. So you leave them hanging like that. And so the judge, then you tell them what you told them, right? You go over this again and you show them everything. You don't have to read it so much. Maybe you could just highlight it and then you go over the, did I go too fast?
No, I mean, I can run this back and pause it, so it'd be
Okay,
good.
good. Okay, good. Yeah. And so then the Catasetinae, and then special thanks to these guys. And you always want to thank your judging center for allowing you the opportunity to wow them with your understanding.
I don't think I've thanked my judging center yet in either of my papers so far.
Yeah, you should thank your judging center. That just shows that there's a deeper you out there.
It's a deeper me. Okay.
Yeah.
No, this I would say I've definitely not had any clue how to judge Catasetinae after this.
Okay, so this should help you. Right. Oops, what happened? Oh, I don't have my. So this should help you frame up your thinking. And
Yeah.
I can't. It's too big to send you. That's the problem with that thing.
I mean, are pictures for some of those plants on your website? Like,
yeah, you can get all the pictures off the website. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think, I mean, it'll probably be better for me to make a different version because they're going to want to see more awarded Catasetinae.
Yeah. Well, don't show them this because I think I recorded this for the AOS too. So they you don't want them to, yeah. Yeah, just make your own PowerPoint. You